John Newton, in his earlier years, was a notorious figure involved in the slave trade. He led a life marked by reckless behavior, debauchery, and cruelty. However, a significant moment in his life came during a treacherous sea voyage. In March 1748, while aboard the slave ship Greyhound, he encountered a violent and life-threatening storm off the coast of County Donegal, Ireland. The storm was so severe that it seemed certain the ship would be lost. Amid the tumultuous sea, John Newton found himself desperately calling out to God for mercy. In the midst of the tempest, he cried out for deliverance, repenting for his past life of sin and acknowledging his need for God's intervention. Miraculously, the storm eventually subsided, and the ship was spared from destruction. John Newton and the crew were saved from the immediate peril of the storm, and the ship's course was redirected to safety. As a result of this answered prayer, John Newton's journey of faith began. He abandoned his career in the slave trade, and eventually became a Christian minister. He studied theology, and was ordained as a priest in the Church of England. His life was characterized by a deep sense of gratitude for the grace and mercy he had received from God. John Newton's ministry included his work as a preacher, writer, and advocate for the abolition of the slave trade. He used his own experiences as a former slave trader to speak out against the inhumanity of the trade. His efforts, along with those of other abolitionists, eventually led to the passing of the Slave Trade Act of 1807, which marked a significant step toward the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade. One of the most remarkable aspects of John Newton's life was his hymn writing. He penned many hymns, with Amazing Grace being his most famous and enduring composition. The hymn is a beautiful expression of his own redemption and faith in God's mercy. The lyrics capture the essence of his life story, acknowledging his past sins, and expressing gratitude for God's forgiveness and transformative power. Millions are familiar with the lyrics that begin, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see." Even as he got older, and towards the end of his life, as his memory faded, he never forgot about the grace and forgiveness he received from God. He famously quoted, "Although my memory's fading, I remember two things very clearly: I am a great sinner, and Christ is a great Savior." Just as God intervened in the life of Saul, and used him to write large portions of the New Testament and become a witness to the gospel of Jesus Christ as the Apostle Paul, John Newton's life is a testament to God's power and grace, to change the life of a wretch like me.